alive. We should be alive, but also live.
Yes.
And recorded and all of those things. So
Awesome.
hello, people.
Amazing.
Hello.
Today is Jin.
Go ahead.
I said today is Jin.
Today's
all I have to
Jin. Ah, yes. Excellent. An excellent choice. All
I think-
right. Apparently we're streaming now. That's cool.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I've heard that rumor.
It's been a while.
Hang on a second. We seem to have, where's the mute button? I know there's a mute here somewhere.
What do you?
Oh, you can hear us.
Yeah, I'm just I'm getting our audio and then the stream audio in my headphones, and I was terrified for a moment that it was looping out.
I get that sometimes if it like auto runs a video. I've gone onto the Twitch page and suddenly I hear either yourself or Chantel being like, "And we're live." I'm like, "Ha, shit, ha." Right. Okay.
How are we?
Oh
Good.
goodness.
I am very 2022.
Yeah, hello KJ. Yeah, I keep saying to myself that my primary concern right now is that it's not 2022, it's 2020-2.
That does work. That does fit the fit the thing. I've just started saying it's the year of our COVID 2022, and that's my way of doing it.
The re-COVIDing.
Well, not even re-COVID. Like it's not. We're just in season 3 of COVID.
Really hoping the writing gets better.
Well, frankly, I hope it gets worse because that's when it gets cancelled. At the moment, the ratings are through the roof. It's just going to keep going.
It is very predictable already, though.
I mean,
yeah. Same as the first.
I feel like the tsunami was came out of left field.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and the poor woman in British Columbia nearly getting clocked on the head by a meteorite was a little bit much, but
I really feel like
I didn't hear that story. I heard about an Italian government meeting being interrupted by inappropriate material based on a video game.
I did hear about that, yeah.
The Italian Senate, not like just like a meeting.
if I wrote any of these things in a book,
Oh,
literally fucking any of it, people would be like, "It's unrealistic. We can't do it. We don't believe it." And yet here we are. The world is just getting more surreal, and you know what? That's why it's Jin.
And that is why we
you were like, "Oh, history's stranger than fiction," and now it's like the present is stranger than fiction.
The present is stranger than history.
Like, that's what I was going to say.
Yes.
I don't understand it, and frankly, I loved surrealism in art. I still love surrealism, but when it's realism, I don't like it. So
we'd
like our surrealism with a little bit more surreal.
yeah, I feel like I'm reaching the point now where to if I want surrealism, I need to play a slice of life TTRPG. Like, what is it like to just like run a bakery?
That sounds so good.
Doesn't it? I can make a note about that.
I was doing before the show that I got like some boxes of things that from Kickstarter. I just forgotten what it was. But one of them I was like, I thought was a board game, which I'd kickstarted, which I was like, this seems early. Turned out not to be the board game, but I'm looking forward to that one because it's essentially a game where your job is to find jobs around the town for small dragons.
That sounds amazing.
And so all the I don't know, like I think it's because I remember from like years ago, I saw a picture and it was basically like a waiter serving like a creme brulee to someone, and then on their arm is a small dragon breathing fire onto it, and they're running line being like, he's like, he's not using the dragon as a blowtorch. The dragon is the chef, and he's doing table service. And I'm pretty sure it's the same artist for the whole game.
Well, that is fantastic.
That sounds
So I was
lovely.
looking forward to that, and then it was like, oh no, it's something else, which was still kind of adorable, but also it was like the RPG book for the Root, that based on the Root board game, but it was in a very large box. I only imagine they ran out of other boxes because it was very silly when I opened it up and realized it's just one small book in this box.
Yeah, I was reading actually that apparently that's a huge problem for most shipping companies. Is it's they're winding up having to go with these ridiculous odd-sized boxes because all of the common-sized boxes got run out of during the Christmas rush. And global supply chain foolishness means that, yeah, they'll they may have boxes in time for next Christmas, but
Yikes.
Yeah. That was my assumption that something along those lines had happened.
Yeah. All right. I think this is the part where I look at Chantel and say without any warning whatsoever. So tell us about yourself, Chantel.
I'm me, 33 years, gin drinker. As of like right now, this is my first drink of like 2022 after New Year's Day. I play video games now, which is nice. I do a lot of drawing. I do a lot of writing. I'm about 40-something thousand words deep into that book I was writing.
Awesome.
I'll be doing some shit. Check out my Twitter.
Yeah.
Welcome to 2022. It's hard to remember things or care.
Oh, I felt that.
Yeah, it's that one. I'm very tired. Other people. Jamie, go.
Yeah, that's me. I'm Jamie Collett. I'm a voice actor and director. I'm 31, not single, but am looking.
Who's not looking? We all have eyes.
You can find me on Twitter at Muffin Manifesto or on my website, www.jamie-collett.com. And yeah, all my stuff is on one of those two places.
Fantastic. Sam.
Hey, not doing much at the moment. I've actually been self-isolating for the past most of the week. Because
The least amount of doing.
Yeah, so I'd already left my apartment and temporarily gone back to my parents' place because one of my housemates had realized that while he was at work that day, he'd potentially had some contact, so I just left. And then when I got here, I do support work, and the guy does support work. I did a session on the weekend, and the next day was like, so my other support worker has tested positive, and I was just like,
oh
well,
no.
But he has just messaged me just before we went live that his rat test came back negative. So, which is, take it, as we were talking about, take it with a grain of salt, but it's still good news.
Yeah.
And have had no symptoms. So
Fantastic. Yeah.
It has been the best version of what this could be, I guess.
Yep. For sure.
But you can also find me on Twitter at @_RealSammyB.
Fantastic.
I occasionally do voice acting stuff and performance, but I just don't have anything coming up.
Almost like it's been the holidays.
Almost.
That would explain a lot.
Michelle?
Oh, right then. That's me. So yeah, Michelle V69 on Twitter. I'm an author, game designer, exceedingly opinionated Canadian. Yeah, I think that sums it up right for the short term. Getting back into the streaming thing, both here and at my weekly live stream. I sort of do a what I call a TTRPG talk show, which is mostly me talking and drawing pictures. So that's yeah, 902PE Gaming you can find there. And of course, for all things me, website is michellervalencourt.com. Yeah. And tonight we're back. It is the new season.
Should we play
So,
intro? Should I just run the intro?
Yeah, let's run the intro and we'll go from there.
All right. We back.
Gasp.
We did it.
Hello, we're back. Okay, fantastic. Yeah. So, well, yeah, as I was saying before we pressed the button that made the thing that changed the stuff, and did all the cool pictures that Chantel has put together for us. Thank you, Chantel. I adore your artwork. This is the start of the end. Doom, doom, doom. So yeah, far as I can figure, we'll be done mid-June. So for those of you who remember where we left off, the group had discovered that Spider's great-grandfather's crashed airship was in fact not a complete airship, but rather a small chunk of it, with the rest of it a ghost image, that as they had come up with some mechanism by which to transport the rest of said airship to the elemental plane of air. And the great secret that was being held by the Burned Fire tribe was that they had, for some reason, had a debt to be repaid to grandfather Lucas, and so they were serving as guardians to the only way that airship can come back to this world, which is the wreck site. It's essentially a transdimensional anchor. So that's where we left off. There were some huge implications to all of that for the story. And then Christmas and COVID galloped onto the scene. And so we took some time, did some thinking, did some talking, and the rough decision was that gallivanting off to the elemental plane of air just isn't something that the group wants to do. It sounds like an excellent other adventure, but both the players and the characters, it's not a thing that makes a lot of sense right now. So,
yeah, I think that was the big thing. It was like, it's like, few of them would love to do it, not now.
Yeah, and I think that's like justified.
Timing's bad. Call back later.
Yeah.
Timing is bad.
Spider's response is definitely rescue Lucas first, then go to elemental air plane, because that was their whole adventure together.
So where we are now, as I say, so basically it's the trip to the volcano which needs to get covered off, and the ramifications of whatever it is you discover there. So what I thought we would do to open up the new season / chapter is a quick trip down memory lane as a starter.
Memory.
So, does everyone remember almost 2 years ago?
No.
The fight at the barn.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was surely more than 2 years ago. Oh my god.
Madness, isn't it? Or it really feels. I have to start using that phrase. My apologies. It feels very, very surreal and not.
It's that surreal thing. I remember everything about that barn trip, but I don't remember what I did last week. What does that say?
Yeah.
Long term is slightly better than short term.
I mean, ADHD says sure. ADHD says 2 years from now I'll remember last week. It's great.
So okay, so Sam, you were pretty quick to say you remembered the barn fight. What's one thing you remember about the barn fight?
Chevalier immediately failing at a personal goal, like right off the bat. Was like, do what you can to so that Alexandre doesn't have to hurt people. It's like have that moment be as delayed as possible, and then it happened in the first conflict. He was like, he was a little hard on himself for that.
Yeah, all right. Anybody else have a memory of that barn fight?
I remember Spider being desperately trying to be cool and failing miserably repeatedly.
Yes, we were using the Dungeons and Dragons rules, and you couldn't roll above a 10 or something ridiculous.
I couldn't stab a guy in the back who was facing away from me doing a menial task. As a master assassin or whatever.
Yeah, you did so badly you had to change system.
Yeah. I broke Dungeons and Dragons, so we made it different.
To be fair, the moment we did that, you immediately was like just nonsense archery and nonsense shots and whatever, and climbing on walls.
Season 2 Spider was certainly a
Chantal, do you have any cool memories of the barn fight?
Beyond failure? A number of them, one of which being Genevieve, that being the first meeting. Another of which being coming across the weird creatures that we didn't expect to come across.
The Werkin, yep.
The Werkin. And no one knowing where Genevieve came from or what was going on beyond they'd been paid to do the work.
Yeah, she had a bunch of mooks with her. Basically footmen armed with simple swords and cudgels, kind of thing. Yes, and the couple that you captured, all they knew is she basically extremely attractive woman shows up at the pub with a bag of gold and says, "I'm looking to hire ruffians." Oddly enough, she had applicants for the job, right? So yeah.
And having that feeling where it's like assuming that it was to do with the wanted poster that you weren't actually aware of at the time, but also having a feeling of like, that doesn't feel right here. That doesn't feel like the answer. Hang on. Hang on.
Chantal, you had something else you're going to say?
No, that was it. I think that was everything I remembered. She hit Alexandre, but she wasn't trying to kill. She was also trying to capture Chevalier. Everyone wanted Chevalier.
Oh yeah, it was
good times.
She specifically wanted Alexandre and Chevalier.
Yeah,
that's right.
Which I think was the thing, was like not wanting the other two was like probably not the.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe she had basically said, I want those two alive. I don't care about the other two. Just get rid of them.
Yeah.
So words to that effect, yeah. So, and then you folks moved on to a little place called Breezy Point Bay, a little town built around whose deep water channel is dug out every couple of years by an Earth elemental, owned by the Confederacy, because engineering. No problem. And found out about a place called the Bitterwater Marsh Dam. Do you folks remember about that whole thing? Chantel?
Aquidian. Who wasn't even there at the time, but I do now. And the lizard folk and Spider's enamorment of the lizard folk.
Listen, they were very attractive lizard folk.
Chippendale. I described the matriarch's bodyguards as being Chippendale dancers. So yeah.
And what else? That it was just a community out in the marsh.
Very good.
And the dam, where they were making things.
Yep.
I don't recall whether or not it was destroyed.
Yeah.
We systematically destroyed.
Well, the lizard folk certainly did.
Okay, good.
They're like,
yeah.
Well, that was
Jamie.
Sorry,
Jamie. What do you remember? Go ahead.
I remember us saving the lizard folk from certain doom by leading them to destroy the dam that was growing up with their lifestyle, and that there was a douchebag running it who turned out to be his own sister. That's not even vaguely factually incorrect.
Turned out to be his own sister. Yep. Awkward. One of those times when the D&D rules worked out to your advantage, thanks to an innocuous question by Chantel.
Well, I take one of the most useful abilities in D&D, and nobody thinks that I would take it. Or nobody thinks it's that useful. Guess what? It is.
Yeah.
I think that the thing was it's like, this is not taken. And I was like, seriously? That's a really good ability.
Yeah.
We're all just like,
not only is it a great ability, but how could Alexandre not see jewelry?
I mean,
I do appreciate it was things got upended by an innocuous question by Chantel, setting the precedent for things to come.
Yes.
I do that. Excuse me while I make a note about my bakery RPG.
I'm happy to help you write it or playtest.
Despite giving the dam a name, the main point being that it wasn't like an official construction project was the
the only reason it's the name that was given because it's the dam that was in the Bitterwaters Marsh, but yes, it was not sanctioned by the Confederacy,
and it was specifically trying to starve out the lizard folk so they could go and get all the bog iron,
right,
to make weapons for what might be revolution, maybe. We found out later. But it was causing a lot of strife between the lizard folk and the nearby woodcutters.
Yes, that's
at their job.
Yeah.
They were loggers. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a foresters community in the neighborhood who, for a very long time, had been largely left alone. Everyone knew exactly where the edge of the lizard folk swamp was. No one went to bother them. They didn't bother anybody, and suddenly they were murdering people, and that seemed a little odd. Yeah. Thus, adventurers were hired.
And our instruction was make it stop. We don't care how.
Yeah.
And we were like, does that mean you want violence? And they were like, no, that means we don't care. And we went. Yes. That is a good clarification.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think any of us were very keen to do violence onto it.
Yeah, it's like, are we being hired to just attack this tribe? And it's like, no. Good. Okay. Next question.
Yes. Yeah, that was actually a conscious decision on my part to put you folks into that situation just to see if you'd ask the question. And I was that you did. And it was intentional that, the funny thing about, a politically lawful neutral under the D&D system, political organizations, they don't care about the how. The question is if it's legal or not. So all they cared about was that this condition wasn't doing its thing anymore. So please fix it. We're not really caring about the details at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll pay you to do the work. You do the work. We don't care about the details. Carry on.
Likely also the problem with the dam is they just didn't ask first. The ultimate problem being that it was going to be used to supply arms to people who were probably not friendly to the Confederacy, but
awkward.
Initially, they didn't ask. How dare they?
And it was about then that you folks got wind by word from an old chum of Spider's back in the capital about a particular piece of paper that had been spied hanging on walls. Do you all remember that?
Actually, no, I don't remember until later because Spider didn't tell me.
I didn't tell anybody.
Wasn't that we only heard about it then? Like Spider knew about it from the beginning, but it was revealed to the rest of us at that point.
I think that was
no, it wasn't revealed to the rest of us.
I think it was revealed to some people, but
the end of last year.
Yeah,
mid last year is when Alexandri found out.
Well, because we had a whole conversation where like we're trying to work out what to do with Tolman, and it was like the looming question of hand them over or summarily execute them here. And Spider's concern was that we were definitely being chased, and so there's a point where it's like we have to share some information, but we don't want to do it in front of Tolman in case we're giving Tolman new information. We don't want to leave Tolman alone. So we did this relay where Spider and Alexandria went off and was told what was happening, and then Chevalier went off, swapped with Spider, so that Alexandria. But at which point, like you were telling Chevalier something that he'd assumed, and then his immediate reaction was, "I've left Spider alone with this person, and there's a good chance that he's going to try and off them." And just turned around and just sprinted back. We're like, no. At which point we found out that Lucas had just been like, no, we're not doing that. And it was like, okay. And it was a moment of like, if he breathed, he would be out of breath at this point.
So then the group moved on to a fascinating place called Glitter Delta Cove.
Yeah, come for the trade festival, stay for the political intrigue.
Do we have to?
No, we can leave.
And leave we did after we found a hell cup.
So what do you recall of your visit to Glitter Delta Cove?
Awful poetry.
Awful poetry. Yes.
Doing a power song as a person who only speaks in a rough monologue.
We did a job for the Ebon Elves stealing a cup, which may have been Darth Vader in disguise. I don't know.
Some kind of sealed container. It was like an urn or something like that.
Urn.
And I want to say it was Alexandra again, like detecting magic and being like, "There's some stuff going on here." Yeah. And like, maybe do we want to be handing this thing that seems dangerous to these people who seem dangerous? And then, God, it was Chevalier was like, and I think Spider wasn't there at the time, but Chevalier was like, the other two can go. I'll open it in case something goes horribly wrong. And then just before it did, recalled some stuff from his previous adventuring days and was like, "Oh, hang on, this is probably it's like sealed because you don't want to open it, not sealed because it's." And I was like, "Oh, hang on,
a secret." Yeah,
it's like we don't. I don't want to do this, but we want to confirm what they want to do with it, and which their reasoning was like, we don't want it out in the open where people might just accidentally open it. Okay, it's fine. Here you go. You don't want to use it. They're like, no, that thing's terrifying. We just don't want people to like knock it over or something. Like,
and then we had to babysit the world's most revolutionary opera singer.
Because that was the deal. It was like they would give us passage through the Ebon Elf territory to get to where we needed to go to get to Dusseldorf. But we had to like chaperone. I forget her name, but
Ramiki.
that's the one.
But she also used magic, and Genevieve came back.
That's right. We had round 2 with Genevieve in
Didn't she not so much use magic as have magic used through her?
Magic used her.
Magic used her. That's yes.
Like a used opera singer.
Like an amplifier.
Like, yeah, she was a speaker for a bit, which no opera singer wants to be a speaker. That's why they train in singing. I don't know that that's the case. Other opera singers may be available.
I've missed you people. Oh God, I've missed you all.
But she apparently doesn't do magic. So question mark. She's an unfinished quest in the log.
Yeah. She was a valuable mouthpiece that happened to be nearby. That's how I think of it.
I mean, Alexandria doesn't think of it that way.
No.
Because then she'd start thinking about everyone that way. So, and I feel like you probably wouldn't like that. Probably. So,
what odds, right?
What are the chances?
I mean, the ongoing theme of please don't turn Alexandria into the villain.
No, that was next season. Still might happen.
No.
Let's be honest.
But that was when Genevieve teleported in.
Beam them in, Scotty. Yes. Do you remember how they got there?
Yeah, there was a ninja in an Oni mask who threw a portal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Badass.
That was probably one of my favorite moments of the campaign because you originally referred to it as a kabuki mask, which is how you referred to Chevalier.
Yes. Yeah, I said it. Yes.
I think both. I'm sure the clip's still there, but it's like Chantel and I both being like, "What?" And then you sort of yourself, and we just both lose it. You're like, "No, sorry, not kabuki. I mean Oni mask." And we're like, "Ah."
That's how you know we listen.
Yeah.
That's how you know we're paying attention. It's those random,
hugely different implications.
Yeah.
Though to be fair, at the time, I was like, this could be it was potentially a coincidence that these happened at the same time.
Yeah.
And it seems we haven't seen the teleportation happen since. It's like, but it was, it's like through something, and then the portal formed in the middle of the pool of whatever the thing that he threw.
Yeah.
Came out, so it's like fairly certain these are linked.
Yeah. And then you met someone there, right? That was when, oh, good grief. Nadine joined us.
Yeah. Reneshi and Renamala.
Yes.
When we actually get to the Ebon Elf territory, we met. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a heck of a party you went to first, though. Yeah.
Yes, we went to a big ball.
We'd already met Renamala.
Yeah.
And Charlie got a suit.
Yes.
The matriarch of the Ebon Elves.
Oh yeah.
A nice and gentle lady with a crush on Lucas. I'm not going to specify which. I feel like the answer is yes.
I feel like it was like definitely one, and the other one looked close enough that it was like would be okay.
I
do like nice and gentle lady. It's like, yeah, but it's like nice and gentle lady who will mess you up.
Shit, I'm just going to say it's the line from The Godfather. Remember when I told you I wouldn't shoot you? Yeah, you said that. I'm not going to shoot you. So and so, shoot this son of a.
I feel like with her, it's like solid chance it won't be like she's not going to be the one to mess you up, but it could be. Like probably doesn't have to because it doesn't need to, but it could.
Yeah, it depends how personal she's feeling today. Yeah.
What else happened?
Abby.
That was the first time Lucas, who displayed the use of the song.
Oh yeah.
In the contest between them, and
that was like a really tense moment that I thought was going to be like a rift in the party for like sessions, and then was resolved the next session.
Yeah,
and it's just like, and it's just like Sam and Chevalier were just like, this is going to be my life for a little while, and we're like, or not. Okay, that's also great.
Alexandra can't handle that amount of tension for that period of time. No.
You went from like both of you saying exactly the wrong thing to each other, and the next session said exactly the right things to each other. And it was just like, fine. But I think that, like Chevalier also felt like he'd sort of crossed a line as well. I'm just like, we shouldn't have handled it this way.
Yeah,
mistakes were made.
Yeah, but fantastic learning experience as well.
For everyone involved.
And then yes, you folks gained passage through the Ebon Elf territories, the Underveld, the underground world. And you passed through 3 different towns on your way there: Marshashal, Crucereds, and Vielethar. But it was a little inn out in the middle of nowhere that the biggest piece of news happened, wasn't it? What does everyone remember about the trip to the underground world? Leave the visit at the inn for last.
Bait.
Yeah, meat traps.
Traps. All of the meat traps. Every meat trap. Oh, sunglasses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We had dope sunglasses.
Still do.
Or reverse sunglasses.
You all still do have the fancy sunglasses.
They were tailor-made to each person, which was fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic.
This was when we found out that Genevieve was able to spy on at the least Alexandre, or was like attempting to.
Yes. They had, because what had happened was they had been targeting Spider. They hadn't been targeting Alexandre. They had decided to target Spider.
That was
later
on. That was initially.
Initially they were targeting.
You were all on the bridge. And yes, Genevieve attempted to scry on you, and I think I know what it was. Chevalier had bolstered Alexandre so that it was much more difficult, and so the attempt bounced, and everyone went, "What?"
First attempt bounced just because Alexandre's resolve is quite high.
Yes,
and then Chevalier was like, "Well, we're bolstering that just in general." And then but then later on, it was like, what if just target someone else?
Yeah.
So even if Alexandre notices it, we might still be getting spied on because someone else is being targeted. They don't know it's actually working. Do we know it's working? Is the person that's like, we know it happens. We don't know if it's worked.
So what happens? Go ahead.
It's like, if it doesn't work, you know it happened but didn't work. If it does work, you don't know what's happened. But you can keep making the test.
Right.
But like, if there's other people nearby, if like you beat your target's resolve, then you get to see and hear what's going on. But if there's other people whose resolve you don't beat, they're aware of it happening.
Yeah, it doesn't
Right.
get turned off. They're just aware that
Yeah.
that the area they're in is being spied on.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yes, you were aware of that was when you began to be aware of the fact that yes, Genevieve was keeping active tabs on you as on Alexandria / the group.
I don't think we 100% knew it was Genevieve, but it was like, who else would be doing this sort of thing.
Yeah.
It was like, it's either Alexandria or there's another person involved, and that's also terrible.
Yeah, exactly. It was generally the idea. Well, it's definitely not the Ebon Elves because there's two of them standing right beside us, and we're in their own barking town. They don't need magic for that. So who else? Well, there's only one other person we can think of who's been back for who we recently beat off on round 2.
Yeah. Also, like people having the capacity to do this as well.
So yeah. And then a little, I believe it's called the Brookside Pub or something like that. I'd have to go double check the name of the map. But it's a little place literally halfway between two places in the middle of nowhere. And something unthinkable happened. Does everyone remember that one?
It wasn't unthinkable. We thought it, and then it happened anyway. Alexandria got so mad because Chevalier's like, "Hey, I'm just going to lock myself in this room with these dangerous creatures."
That wasn't even the bad part.
No, it wasn't. But you know what? Alexandria was already mad.
Oh, I mean, like
that set up everything else.
Like he wasn't unaware
it
that
set
was
up
going to be the result,
everything
but he
else.
was more like, "Well, we'll talk about it afterwards. It's fine. Don't worry about it." as like, and I think both the moments like that bookended that episode were clipped as well. But like, because the meta reason for this is I forgot how mechanics work.
Yeah, so it was a two-part
mechanic I've been using from the beginning of like going into Open Legend.
Yeah,
but we'd literally talked about it at the top of the episode. It was just like, we definitely don't want to do this, and then cut to like the end of the episode, and I was like, it's hilarious, but I feel like an idiot.
Did your math wrong, and oops. Yeah. Yeah, because so yeah, there was a pleasant little way station in a mushroom forest with a beautiful brook babbling on past, and
fuck off
some
bugs
incredibly
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Chantal. Go ahead.
Giant fuck off bugs that were mosquitoes, but like
that's part of the charm.
Sure. I'm someone that gets bitten by mosquitoes on like a regular basis. By normal sized mosquitoes, and I blow up. So like the idea, there'd be nothing left.
Fickle Waters, that was the name of the place. It was the Fickle Waters pub and bed house.
And my was it fickle?
So yes, someone did the unthinkable and let a couple of Velbudran into the place.
We never found out
Velbudran being the Ebon Elf word, the phrase that translate into the blood drinkers.
We never found out.
Was slightly inaccurate. They don't drink blood; they drink life force.
Awkward.
Which can be blood, but doesn't have to be.
Yep.
But they caused fatigue, which was the problem. Well, they cause exhaustion. I think is which gives fatigue.
Yeah.
So
Chevalier left the campaign.
Lucas was.
Yes, Lucas left the campaign as well.
Inverted commas kidnapped. In that he ran through a portal he shouldn't have run through.
What he actually did was he tried to flying tackle the mage who was in the process of portaling out.
Yeah.
So he flying tackled the mage and then portaled out.
Surprising no one, Lucas didn't think things through. Lucas being what since doing stream shows, I've discovered is probably one of my favorite archetypes for someone else to play. Because it was like invariably in like a bunch of shows, my favorite character was the high intelligence, low wisdom.
Mhm.
And it was just like, and every time I was like, this character's great. Oh, hang on, this has happened like 3 times, but that like Lucas being simultaneously the most and least competent person.
Yes.
Like,
yes, the
often
entire
at the same
professor.
time.
I was going to say the entire Professor Lucas doctorate of human lizard folk affairs. Like what?
Just kept happening. And also like, but the thing was like, some of the nonsense roles, it didn't matter who was like piloting Lucas. It was just like, is Lucas involved? It's just like one of the reasons Chevalier essentially locks himself in with these Velbadran to be like, this will protect others and we'll be fine. Well, I say that, and I definitely messaged you and being like, so in case I die,
yeah, that was literally.
Is it okay if X, Y, and Z happens like in the event of this happening? And then like the next episode was like, I think you were piloting Lucas, and he like double crit or something in like the first attack he made, and it was just like, oh, you just blitzed one of them immediately. Well, sure, yeah, let's go.
All right, and so you continued on adventuring through the Underveld, arrived in Violathar, and having
we picked up a plucky kid and his dragon.
Yes, that is
meet
true.
The dragon till a ways later.
Yeah, well, it was just understood there was a dragon somewhere.
But he still had him in his pocket.
Yes.
I mean,
I'm just saying
there was a friend that you would meet once you left the city, and there was a lot of speculation about who the friend was.
Yes, there was a general discussion as to whether or not this was an imaginary friend or a real friend, and if the real friend was part of the problem instead of part of the solution.
What are the implications? what are the implications that this child isn't lying to us? I think it was Spider who was just like, it's like, what if it's a dragon? And everyone's like, nah, dragons are dead.
Yep.
And turns out everyone was right.
Times when dragons didn't exist, hey.
and then we met the origami kid.
Origami kid arrives.
That was a fun character introduction, I think, given the way Mysel is immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The great folding.
that was a little while there. It was more just like, well, it's the fact that he looks 12 but talks like he's a lot older, because he is, but that wasn't clear at the beginning.
Yes,
I remember Spider trying to threaten the 12-year-old and getting sent to Dreamyland.
Yes, suddenly standing on top of a beautiful mountain peak all by himself, wondering how did I get here.
I could have one of those.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm talking about the beautiful mountain peak or the ability to send people to Dreamyland.
Should just tell them no occasionally. Because that was the town got attacked by like a wave of Velbadran at that point, and we sort of like, we should go help, and then kind of just watched. We helped, but I didn't have to get involved in actually. Turns out the town that's regularly attacked by Velbadran is ready to handle an attack by Velbadran.
Who knew?
Gasp.
Yeah. Well, and it turns out the things in this world come in 3 flavors of minor, greater, and major. And what you had been dealing with at the P&B house was a major Velbadran, which made them cunning ambush predators, versus the things that were just throwing themselves at the hardened defenses of the town, which were a little bit more towards a little bit more simplistic in their behavior, and so the town is capable of using mass warfare as a method of defending itself. But yes, there was I remember that there was at one point that we first got a chance to see Mysel's mental powers as he was shielding some of the defenders from the mental assault of the creatures who were trying to sneak past the defenses by appearing to be one of the defenders.
I think it was like, after having like Marla explain, it was like, all right, well now you can see them, and you're just like, oh, 1 second.
Yes, well, this simplifies everything.
We're going to head to the checkpoint. Just 1 second.
Yep. So yes, and then you folks continued on from Crucereds on to Violathar, took the elevator back up to the surface, happy to say goodbye to the Underveld and its memories, and arrived in the free city of Dasseldorf, literally on the other side of a week's travel by water across a bay.
And we could change the name to Daddledurf because that's who was there.
Also, I remember it being like not so much happy leaders, because Alexandre and Renishi had formed a connection, so there was a degree of it being bittersweet.
Mm-hmm, yes.
But yeah, then immediately walking into problems with Father Edgewater.
Yeah, ran into like one of his personal bodyguards as soon as we entered the city. That was not ideal.
Except that it was, because he was like, "Hey, you should leave.
You should get the hell out of here.
Get out and never return." Very Lion King.
Yeah, learn more about the father and decided, no, this person's not a good person. We don't like this person. You've upset the 12-year-old in Mysel. How dare you?
All right. And it was somewhere around Dasseldorf, as I recall, that it was discovered that someone had a talk and someone had a tick. Or is that when we got the Cliff Spider?
Just lots of tick. Big dick syndrome.
Big chick energy.
No, that was when you folks had arrived at Cliff Spider, because I remember that for the next little while, Alexandre wandering around the city streets randomly checking passersby if they made noises.
Yeah. It was like day one of Cliff Spider, I think.
Yeah. So you hung around Dasseldorf just long enough for Spider to make a new friend, which is to say, showed up intending on while still debating whether or not they were going to murder them or not, to find them picking out their mortuary ware, and had a fascinating conversation instead.
Well, I don't know how you make friends, mate, but doesn't everybody just meet people at work?
This is one of those times where I can say, I'm a psychologist. No.
No. big no.
No. Well, big actually no. Not at all.
That was also in some of like Spider's history was
a psychologist.
I don't think confirmed, but like definitely sort of more hinted at because of like needing to, I can't remember the lady's name, but like her being like, you need to clarify this. This is going to be important. Like,
yes. Yeah. Yes, the big question, did you murder your sister or not? What?
Which would have been really awkward in present day.
Yeah. In a way, yes, but also a big, heavy, resounding no.
In a way, yes. In a much more pertinent way.
Yeah.
No.
How meta are we getting here?
Well, also, it's like, not that we needed it to be reinforced, but turns out that Daddy Edgewater is a terrible person. Like,
really, just a really, really bad person.
Everything
like,
you learned about that person, I mean, confirms what we already knew. Good.
Yeah. He explained so much for Alexandre. She just suddenly understood the entire family after a couple of those things.
Mental image of like the 4 children went, yeah, I see it.
Yeah, I see it. I get it. This makes sense to me now. I'm not excusing the fact that you're a dick, but like at least I see why.
At least I understand now why you're the most tolerable of the 4.
It's like suddenly explains your children. Like, right, okay.
Yeah.
Glad we've got the good ones.
I was just going to say, and it seems to me that there was, it was somewhere, I think, the first time that you almost all drowned in a dream was actually at
that was Glitter Delta Cove. That was
right
before the urn.
Yeah,
I think. Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. And then there was a repeat of that with a little bit more of the the centers stayed the same, but the dream was a little bit wider as you were.
I think that second time was just Spider and Alexandre. I remember being headphones off for one of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had a chat with Jennifer after that.
Yeah.
Because she can't keep her. Anyway.
Well, at some point we also had a chat with Grand-Mère.
Yes, but that was actually Cliff Spider.
Yes, it was.
So after Dusseldorf, with Daddy hanging around town and a warning from one of Daddy's top troops that, yeah, I'm on your side, but I can't do anything about it. But if he catches you, you're all done for. You all said, well, we were planning on leaving anyway. Bye.
Yeah. We can push the schedule up.
And then got a lift with an avian member of an avian race.
Got a lift with a dragon.
Yes,
that's right.
You were supposed to be getting a lift with a full 60 courier, and said, "Okay, that's supposed to be day after tomorrow. We're leaving tonight by dragon."
So it's like, how do we get out? It's like, have dragon can travel.
Yes, and so spent a couple days of dragon flying up through the mountains to the Sky Anvil Plain, where you met. Apparently someone sent by your Ebon Elf friends to prevent you from getting yourselves killed, who was very, very concerned about the dragon.
Well, that was, and I don't think it was character knowledge at that point, but like the description was like, you're seeing a creature that is like a very specific creature from your people's legends.
Yes, and that's exactly what it was. Yes.
That eats your people.
That eats your people. And it was just like, but that wasn't said out loud. That was just like the mental realization for Kazra.
Well, what I did was I had actually messaged her. I had a blurb prepared, so when she met the group, what flashed up on her screen was the lore blurb, which was the kind of blink, blink, blink moment on camera when she did the reading and went, "Oh."
But it was like the obvious implications that like the people that are refugees from a different plane of existence, have like legends that look like dragons. It was just like, that'd be really interesting for Mysel and Hio to know. And then it didn't come up again until the very end.
Right.
Like a fair amount of time later. It was was before it actually, that went from like player knowledge to character knowledge, which was hilarious to an extent.
Yes. But yes, everyone. There was the fantastic scene captured in the break reel of "Language is hard."
Yes, continual struggle to keep up with language changes.
So you arrived in Cliff Spider with a native guide, as it were, who themselves aren't natives, but close enough. I mean, they were born here. So you've got your very own bush pilot / tour guide. And things have been lively in Cliff Spider since you've arrived.
I get the feeling now that anytime we arrive, things get lively. I don't know that they necessarily are lively just by their existence.
But what if the rest of the world was like this all the time, and you just keep blundering into everyone else's problems?
I wish it were the case, but I really don't think it is.
The party don't start until we walk in, so...
Cliff Spider specifically, I mean, we happen to know that the people causing a lot of trouble were doing it because of you.
Or at least piggybacking off it.
Well, the claws in the dark, or whatever they call.
Oh, right, those people. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
One of the many groups that were causing problems.
So, yes, the group that openly murdered someone in the street. That's
It wasn't in the street. It was like a meeting in the sewer.
It was a meeting in the sewer.
Yeah.
And the bodies were brought up to the street, which is when
okay.
they actually were
I
like
missed that episode.
It was a clandestine gathering in the sewer where they were like, aha, now we have gear. Tomorrow we will.
But that's and that's a different group. And all of them seem to be trying to blame Alexandre by engaging in sewer meetings, which, let's be honest, if it's going to be Alexandre, it's not a sewer.
That's how
you know.
But not in a freaking sewer.
That's how you know it's a pretender. It's like, no, they keep having sewer meetings. They're not working for Alexandre.
That's messy.
Indeed it is.
But this was like meeting meeting the clause was like, they were like, well, yeah, obviously they came in with this like, well, as you know, here's a bunch of information. It was like, that's more information than we've ever received ever. And they were like, what? What? It's like, yeah, she doesn't know shit. No one told her anything. And they're like, I'll be right back. I have to go make some calls. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and as I recall, the phone call had some tolls associated with it.
Yeah, she came back looking a little worse for wear.
Mm-hmm.
But, got a bunch of information.
Crazy. Yeah.
Alexandre has received a gift and learned some things from that gift.
Yes.
Which is nice.
Mm-hmm. You've also had a chance to catch up on My Soul has been remarkably active, experimenting with their newfound powers, is the expansion of their mental horizons, and discovering that Ch5 has this awkward thing where sometimes not on this plane of reality.
Yeah, that was I can find anyone on the planet and I can't find them.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on I was like, I can find anyone on this plane of reality and I still can't find them.
I feel like that's some people trying to find me. I know they were on this plane of reality, but I simply don't know where they are. There's a reason for that.
So yeah,
and that was when we end up having the conversation with Grandmère.
Yes.
And discovered that
ET phoned home and the results were awkward. We'll use that phrase.
There was definitely some shenanigans going on there that had prevented stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There was the actively preventing Alexandre from getting information. Someone or something was preventing Elena from talking about it at all, really.
That she contractually agreed to.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Mm. And in the meantime, Spider was setting up a criminal enterprise in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Getting
As
ready
spiders want to do when left unattended.
I think there was a conversation where it was like, so I've been setting this up. It's like, that's great. We appreciate your actions. We have to go. The scope has changed.
Yeah. It definitely felt like that.
That that was what we got another one of the visions of like the river and the drowning, and it was the first time that it happened for Mysel. So Mysel was like, I can track that back probably, and later realized that he was looking at like he was looking at the actual concept of time in a way that was like he was very aware that it's like you were seeing it in a form that doesn't drive you insane. And you're like, cool, excellent, great. I love it.
Appreciate that piece of hospitality.
Thank you. But also,
extended to all of us.
There's a degree of like, it's like, who am I traveling with? What is going on? I thought I was a nonsense person, but these two, good. All right. Mysel doesn't often meet people who are more nonsense than he is.
Welcome.
which did obviously help him to sympathize with Gazra's reaction to the three of them. Like, anytime learning more was just like, I regret doing that. Why do I keep doing this?
I don't ask questions anymore. My life is much better.
Oops, definitely not going to ask any questions. The next time I ask questions.
Yep. And everyone remembers the twins, yes?
The criminal enterprise contacts.
Yes, the two gnomes, the two gnomes with a steampunk camel.
Yeah.
The tour?
The two gnomes with a steampunk camel who own the establishment you're staying in.
Yeah.
They're
the ones I'm sort of doing business with.
Yes.
Yeah. Immediately added to the list of people we know that are fun to hang out with. Don't cross them.
It's a lot of those. Yeah.
To be fair, I feel like everywhere we go, people probably think the same about us.
It's not inaccurate. That's
yeah.
Alexander doesn't even give off the vibe.
I'm just going to say, the thing is about that is it's one of those things about the criminal underworld is that everyone sort of, if nobody actually pushes the button, we can all just nod yes and presume we're all telling the truth about this. Nobody has to be disappointed.
Yeah.
By disappointed, you mean killed?
Yeah, also that. I'm not disappointed. I'm just killing you.
I'm not disappointed. I'm just angry.
Right. It's the opposite of the parent trap.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then there was a little side trip you all made to a charity event, a public meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want? Okay,
that was the other group that's like piggybacking off.
Yes.
Off
of Spider's excellent. Yeah, off you go, Spider. Jamie.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Probably rapidly approaching break time as well, but
yeah, we could.
Oh gosh,
doesn't mean
if we are going to have a break, I can wait.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, because
we're about to reach the present. I assume at which point.
Yeah.
Let's
take a break.
So,
and then we're just going to keep reminiscing until and that'll be the end of the campaign today.
We'll
reminisce about the future sessions.
Isn't that what we've been doing?
But let's continue so that we can get to the break, because we won't get there if we don't keep.
Yes, we met at the revolutionary minded organization that is using one of Alexandre's, like the pseudonym that Spider gave Alexandre.
Yes.
Back in Breezy Point Bay.
Yes.
Like that was their like figurehead. It was just like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
What?
But that like Cliff Spider is gonna be a powder keg.
Yeah. And then you folks went for a little stroll after that, off to go meet a bunch of extremely xenophobic orcs, only to be rudely interrupted by
Jennifer again.
Friend. She's a member of the campaign now.
By the way, I'm taking applications. If there's someone who'd like to play Ch5 as a player character, just shoot me an email. Let me know. We'll do a quick casting check, and you're in.
Wow.
If you want Alexandre to be evil, go ahead.
It's a thing like we wrap up, as you're saying, like we're approaching the end of the campaign, but if we sort of later on pick up the campaign, it's like, yeah, the previous campaign's antagonist is now like, has reformed, and they're pulls a Vegeta and just it's like they were the big bad before. Now they're we're having drinks together and going on adventures.
I'm just going to say, or the bit with Ocean's 11 to Ocean's 12.
I haven't seen these Oceans.
2 heist movies. The short version is that the second one, the patron, is the victim of the first one.
Ah, very nice.
Yes, correct. You guys are talented. I know because you beat me.
How to do it.
But we were actually forewarned about this because we were finally able to sort of scry her back.
Yes.
And found out that she had returned to this plane.
Mm-hmm.
And got a sort of forewarned that also that she was not nearly as like blasé as she tried to pretend to be.
Mm-hmm.
She was just like, I'll take it or leave it. If you want to join me or not, and then had a massive tantrum that Alexandre had told her no.
So Demon and Chill.
Demon and Chill.
None of these are titles, but I was so tired at the end of last year that I feel like they all should have been, but they're not. I'm not just naming the titles, I'm naming them what they should have been now.
So yes, and that led us to the point where it turned out that the Burn Fire tribe had quite a secret that they were hiding, which was the events of the last session, which brings us up to the current. So for those of you who have not been keeping track, it is now, as of the sunrise on the 29th day of Yggdrasil, 54 days of campaign time have elapsed.
Amazing.
29?
It is the 29th. So the idea is that you would have spent the 20
Sorry, how many days have elapsed?
54 days.
54. Okay. 54. I thought you were going to say 29. I was like, is that a month?
I know. But it's only a month. The thing is, like, it's only been 2 months, and it's like...
Yeah, well, keep in mind that a month is 35 days, right, by this calendar. Yeah. But yes, so...
Human Earth month.
So it's in world, it's not been 2 months.
Has not been 2 months.
It's been a month and a 2/3 or something.
Yeah.
I was about to say, when I think about people I've known for 2 months, I don't know them as well as these characters know each other, but they've also been together every day, all day.
Every minute of every single day.
Yeah. And when I think about when I was on tour, I knew those people well enough.
Within a week.
Yeah.
You know them within a week, and then you dislike them within 2. So...
because you're on tour.
and then in about 2 months, you love them because they become family. So it's like, this actually tracks.
This tracks.
Who would have guessed it would match the theater experience?
Me.
Yeah.
I would have guessed this. Would have absolutely guessed this.
All right, so let's do that break. And when we come back, have your D8s ready for the first rolls of the new season.
Oh, okay. Ooh. Break time.
Break time.
Have you considered that you might like a disguise that doesn't involve being wrapped up in veils?
Yes.
Will you let me do your makeup?
No.
Think don't be afraid.
You look like like you need a ride. You look like you need a ride. I'm here to help, but I don't think that I can fit your friend there. Can you ask them if they are going to eat me?
Depends
In
on
that
your
case-
answer.
My name is Michel Vaillancourt. I'm the games master and storyteller for Unlawful Disorder. I've been asked to give a summary of events of the game, but that seems a little strange because, well, that's the job of the players. Don't ask me what the story is, I'm just the guy telling it. So, let's talk about how we got here. So, about a year ago, I saw a bunch of really talented people doing some really cool stuff, and I thought, well, that's cool, I'll have to keep them in mind. And a little while after that, I got a call from a roleplay channel asking me to set up a game. They wanted a European time zone friendly game. So I went back and I called up the cool people doing the cool stuff. So that would be Chantel and company. Cool. So, after that, we took a little bit of time, discussed a good D&D campaign, and I brought forward one of my homebrew worlds. And they looked at me and said, no.
You're sure he's not gonna eat me?
He's not gonna eat you.
Okay, I'm a friend then.
Depends
In
on
that
your
case,
answer.
It's not the name that's on the bounty, and that's all that matters to me.
Okay. Now I just have to remember to respond to it.
Well, you'll do that, won't you, Eric? Eric,
Are you going to eat them?
Considers it.
By the way, you have no clue what she's on about. Like, you've never seen one of these things before.
he's a vegan!
oh, what?
Definitely don't know what that is.
I don't care what he is. He's got big teeth.
You do have big teeth. Not incorrect.
Theo's grasp of the trade tongue is
Oh,
body.
do you? Oh, do you? What do you eat them?
Sort of looks back up. I will not consume that person.
Could you be a little more generic and just say you're not going to consume anyone in the city as well? Just to make it easier.
That'd be great.
So reverting back to Elvish, like,
Just try.
what language?
know?
I'm not gonna eat people.
I know you're not going to eat people.
Language is hard.
I know. Just say it the way I'm telling you to say it. I'm not going to eat the city.
I'm not gonna eat the city.
Yes.
I'm not gonna eat the city. I'm not gonna eat the city.
Sam, bro.
Mental image got too funny.
Why hands?
Have you considered that you might like a disguise that doesn't involve being wrapped up in veils?
Yes.
Will you let me do your makeup?
No.
You...
Think they'd be afraid.
you look like you need a ride. You look like you need a ride. I'm here to help, but I don't think that I can fit your friend there. Can you ask them if they are going to eat me?
Depends
In
on
that
your
case-
answer.
My name is Michel Vaillancourt. I'm the games master and storyteller for Unlawful Disorder. I've been asked to give a summary of events of the game, but that seems a little strange because, well, that's the job of the players. Don't ask me what the story is, I'm just the guy telling it. So, let's talk about how we got here. So, about a year ago, I saw a bunch of really talented people doing some really cool stuff, and I thought, well, that's cool, I'll have to keep them in mind. And a little while after that, I got a call from a roleplay channel asking me to set up a game. They wanted a European time zone friendly game. So I went back and I called up the cool people doing the cool stuff. So that would be Chantel and company. Cool. So, after that, we took a little bit of time, discussed a good D&D campaign, and I brought forward one of my homebrew worlds, and they looked at me and said, no.
You're sure he's not gonna eat me?
He's not gonna eat you.
Okay, I'm a friend then.
Depends
In
on
that
your
case,
answer.
It's not the name that's on the bounty, and that's all that matters to me.
Okay. Now I just have to remember to respond to it.
Well, you'll do that, won't you, Eric? Eric,
Are you going to eat them?
Considers it.
By the way, you have no clue what she's on about. Like, you've never seen one of these things before.
he's a vegan!
oh, what?
Definitely don't know what that is.
I don't care what he is. He's got big teeth.
You do have big teeth. Not incorrect.
Hugo's grasp of the trade tongue is
Oh,
body.
do you? Oh, do you? What do you eat them?
Sort of looks back up. I will not consume that person.
Could you be a little more generic and just say you're not going to consume anyone in the city as well? Just to make it easier.
That'd be great.
So reverting back to Elvish, like,
Just try.
what language?
know?
I'm not gonna eat people.
I know you're not going to eat people.
Language is hard.
I know. Just say it the way I'm telling you to say it. I'm not going to eat the city.
I'm not gonna eat the city.
Yes.
I'm not gonna eat the city. Mental image got too funny.
Why hands?
Have you considered that you might like a disguise that doesn't involve being wrapped up in veils?
Yes.
Will you let me do your makeup?
No.
You.
Think that you'd be afraid.
You look like you need a ride. You look like you need a ride. I'm here to help, But I don't think that I can fit your friend there.
Go back.
Hello.
All right then. So just checking the chat. I will watch the VOD tomorrow and remember KJ's rule number 1, don't die. Got it. I have some bad news for you, KJ VOD. So, about those D8s.
Die.
We've only broken that rule once. I mean, come on.
and it traumatized everyone for months later, so let's not do it again.
My characters died once and I didn't even know until recently.
Yeah, that's a lot of that. That must be. I don't know if it's more stressful or less stressful.
It was certainly stressful.
All right then. So we have 3 players at the table. I am sorry Danny couldn't make it tonight. Hopefully she'll be with us next week. So I would like each of you 3 to roll a d8. If you roll a 1 or an 8, the dice explodes. If you roll a 1, it explodes downwards.
Oh. Okay.
Does that mean we subtract the second dice from the first?
Correct.
I'm going to negatives, I'm assuming.
Yes.
I rolled a 1.
The giggle right there, folks.
That's a -5.
Fantastic.
I got a 6.
All right, so we're at a tally of -1. How you doing there, Jamie?
Wouldn't that be +1?
Yes, +1, sorry.
I got a 3.
A 3. So we are totaling out at a 4. The 3-player average should be a 13.
What? Not when you can negative.
No, on 3d8.
Oh.
On 3d8 normally,
Yeah.
the average would be 13. Essentially, the exploding ends cancel each other out. No, well, yeah. Hang on. No, it'd be 4
Am I
times.
hearing something?
Yeah, I started hearing another voice.
I started hearing
from
another voice.
JM, I have a hot mic. My son's standing over there.
Ah.
So yeah, he forgot. He's being a smidge loud. Forgot I had a hot mic. Okay then. So, if with the permission of the group, we're going to time skip 5 days.
Okay.
That brings us to the 34th of the month. So
has that time been spent all with the orcs?
That is that's well, it's a couple of days travel. It's a couple of days. It's a couple of days of spent time with the orcs, getting to know who these people are and so that, for lack of a better way of putting it, you essentially have the ability to retroactively ask the GM any questions about, did the orcs tell us anything about this?
Oh, so we've left the orcs. Okay.
All right. You arrived yesterday late in the afternoon back at Cliff Spider. Right? Because you had basically your expedition. This was your trial expedition officially. And so the idea had been go out, find out what was up with the ship, hopefully gain something that was of value, bring it back, sell it, use to finance the next expedition. That is the terms of the agreement with the twins, don't forget. Is that they're basically paying the bill for you lot, including your 2 loyal Hexabuffalo, to be able...
I mean, finish your thought first, please, and then I will.
So that the idea of Spider, of course, has not told them the truth. The idea is that you are going to be off and exploring the plains, reaping great riches based on rare archaeological information that you carry, and so we'll be able to come back and make the twins even richer, obnoxiously richer than they already are, as a couple of aspiring crime lordesses.
Was I able to get goods from the orcs that would be interesting to the people back in town, given that I couldn't salvage the airship?
That was my question.
Because that's what I thought I would be coming back to, is trying to convince these orcs to give us good shit.
I am totally fine with that. Essentially, if you explain your situation to them, then, for lack of a better way of putting it, the orcs because they are relatively insular. It turns out they're not as insular as they are impressioned. They actually have the equivalent of they have a secret merchant prince society, for lack of a better way of putting it, which spends their time looking like other orcs to do business with intermediary groups. So they don't trade with other orcs. They'll trade with goblinkin, who trade with other orcs, however, while pretending to be another group of orcs.
Right.
So that is how they are able to maintain as insular as they are, is by not being insular. They're just.
I had a feeling that was sort of what was going on.
Yeah. However, that having been said, because they are largely left alone and aren't dealing with any of the usual interscene BS warfare that tends to go on up here, everyone's slightly a bit hard scrabble and a little cranky about where somebody's border is on any given Tuesday. And they have essentially elevated their level of "we are terribly scary. You don't want to argue with us." Just everyone has just stopped arguing with them.
Their border is a little hard to contest. That it's visible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, like, because they're up against the mountainside, like, it's not necessarily like squashed territory, right? They have like, this is us, and there's no one on the other side. So if you come in, it's going to be obvious.
Everyone else knows we don't go that way. And it's fine.
There's two routes of access in here, and both of them are marked by a large smoking wall that confuses the crap out of you the further you go in. But please give it a shot if you like. We'll be happy to pick off the survivors or make them tea, depending. So when you explained your circumstance to them, they were able to actually provide essentially, by the way, just so it's been said, the orcs are remarkably cagey about whatever debt it is they have to your grandfather. But at the point you basically passed the entire "yes, you're the real thing" test, they didn't seem to have any problems whatsoever. Cracking open a couple of spare warehouses of stuff that they've been keeping for a lousy harvest, and shipping you back with some unmistakably, burned fire delicacies and things like that. Stuff that basically there would be only one place you could get it.
Yeah,
they would be uncontrovertible about where this stuff came from. Awesome. a few objets d'art, a few spare blankets and stuff like that. That just more like quilts that have been needleworked and things like that. Just stuff which is signature to the tribe, that anybody who knows what they're looking at would go, yeah, that's authentic. I have no idea how you got it and survived, but that's authentic. And so, yeah, you have a modest load, which will certainly be more than enough to, let's just call it, it'll be a fantastic appetizer for the greedy appetites of the twins.
That's it. And enough to get us outfitted for a real journey through dangerous.
Okay. You can manage to do this. You're the real thing. Yeah. Absolutely. No, the orcs are not going to starve themselves to save your hide, but the orcs are also smart enough to understand that it only takes one bad harvest to make for a really lousy year. So they have the best description is Orcan High Plains kimchi.
That sounds dope. I want some.
So good. That sounds so good.
And so, yes. So, like I say, it's just one of those. You've got to be able to store food somehow, and almost invariably one of the kimchi or a substance like it is an obvious go-to in terms of pickling and spicing. And so, yes, it's a jerky / leaf blend, which has been sort of ground fine, loaded with enough vinegar to choke a hexa buffalo, and then liberally laced with something fairly odoriferous and spicy to mask the taste of the knitter.
Yeah.
And it always seems to leave this vaguely sooty aftertaste. Can't imagine why. So So yeah, you've got several cases of this stuff. It's a ridiculous delicacy globally because bluntly, you pretty much have to nearly get your ass killed to be able to get some, even in small quantities, let alone by the whole case.
So what you're saying is Spider spends a lot of time on the way back just putting kimchi, orkan kimchi, into small jars, and individually.
So yeah, so you folks have been in back in Cliff Spider. You arrived late yesterday afternoon. Relaxed. The twins think you lot are absolute rock stars because you lived, and came back with what? A couple of the other, or a couple of, keep in mind, most of the chefs at the Staggering Clock are orcs, right? It's essentially it's an orc Mongolian barbecue. So the fact that there's a bottle of this stuff kicking around practically leads to a street fight. Like,
I like the idea of an auction in the form of a street fight.
My bid wins, evidenced by the only one left conscious to make a bid.
It's similar to Thunderdome in that 2 orcs enter, 1 leaves with kimchi.
And the starting number was 12.
The only way to bid more is to take his.
I imagine it works like the Royal Rumble. Every now and again, a walk-on starts. It's like, oh god, it's this guy's music. I haven't seen him in years.
So, the news, which will be reaching Spider's ears almost immediately upon arrival, is that if you recall, the big sign that the veiled priestess's cunning master plan was in execution, and the fate of destiny would be upon the world, and blah blah blah. Was that the revolutionaries had warned one of the Goblinkin tribes that a Confederacy unit was out to put a beating on them, and just because the Goblinkin were proving intractable in trade negotiations, which is to say they really weren't interested in giving up any more land to the Confederacy, and the Confederacy just doesn't understand. No, it's the whole silver and steel policy, right? Fine. Okay, we've offered silver 2 or 3 times. You're just not getting the hint. We're going to erase you from the map and use you as an example to the next bunch you say no. So the Goblinkin were supposed to have been warned. That's not quite what happened. Let's see. That is okay. So they had moved troops up the night before via the full 60, not into the town, but onto the plains. And so the actual number that showed up for the ambush at about a 2-minute delay was almost half again as many as the Goblinkin had been warned, and they got and they got flanked. The Goblinkin were utterly crushed in a classic anvil hammer pincer movement. The city is currently under martial law. There are soldiers patrolling the streets. There has been at least 1 public execution of a supposed revolutionary leader. There are wanted posters up looking for someone who vaguely might be misconstrued to be Alexandri, depending on what clothing she's wearing.
Luckily, she doesn't. Sorry.
Here we go again.
I've never been more glad that you don't like wearing a disguise.
I mean, technically speaking, at this point, who I am is a disguise. So
Yeah, no, I know I sound sarcastic all the time, but that was genuine.
Later, we discover this is a long con organized by Alexandre, just so she doesn't have to wear that costume again.
never again.
Turns out Alexandre's been evil all along.
Turns out. Turns out.
The naivety, she says. Yeah.
Like this was like episode 1. Turns out.
So yeah, that's awkward. So I suppose the question is, by the way, that's what those die rolls were for. I didn't know what the outcome was going to be, so I wrote 2 possible paths, depending on the outcome. On the die rolls you guys came up with, indicated the success or failure of the revolutionary plot. So congratulations, you've yet again managed to twist fate.
Congratulations. Fail once more. The campaign started in failure and it will continue.
So I suppose the question is now what?
I don't fucking know. Following the paths of music only I can hear, so it doesn't say words.
You're sounding a smidge bitter there, Alexandre.
I'm just saying. Seems unreasonable to expect me to know what's happening next when I'm waiting for sentient music to tell me.
I don't even know what's happening now. Next.
Oop, you are very quiet.
Oh,
Yeah.
am I?
Yeah, your audio's dropped completely. I think it's because when you were miceling, you were leaning backwards to straighten up to get the tone.
That was probably it. Yep.
Yeah, you straighten your diaphragm whenever you do micel, and so when you do that, you were leaning back away from your microphone.
Yeah, I think I hadn't moved microphone back from break either.
Gotcha. Yeah.
To be
Probably.
up in my face.
Mm-hmm.
So we got back the night before. You were saying?
Yes. It is. Yeah. So you arrived late in the afternoon. Things were getting messy at that point, but you were all busy coming in. You had a big, the twins threw a ridiculous party. You may or possibly may not have woken up with hangovers, blah blah, and then practically, while Spider's reading the equivalent of the Criminal Times. What? What happened?
Yeah. So
are the wanted posters just the
Their verbal
name of the
description.
character? Was the persona was?
It's wanted in connection with revolutionary activities. Blah description.
But is it like
so no name?
Just her, or is it there's a bunch of people, one of which it looks a little bit like Alexandre? Just Alexandre, the one that looks
Currently, it's just someone who looks vaguely like Alexandre.
Right. Yeah.
As the mastermind of the organization. That's because that's just how the Confederacy is, right?
Yeah.
The Confederacy knows very well that if they say we're looking for the boss and they start working from the bottom of the food chain up about the middle, someone's going to panic and turn and throw and take the reward money.
Except that this boss doesn't exist.
Except that problem.
Someone should tell them, Spider.
Yeah, Spider, you should
You
volunteer.
want me to talk to the police?
Oh no! Alexandre didn't speak then. That was Chantel.
You want me to talk to the police?
Not a separate thing, right?
I'm sure that'll end well.
I'd give an anonymous tip to the what was the lady, the detective lady that
Yeah.
you interacted with as someone else.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was
Yeah.
a German. I
You
was a
have to link-
German fake detective.
You're like a German Poirot.
You were
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say yes, with experience in imperial cultist activity. Yes.
That's right.
I definitely came up with a really stupid name for that persona that I didn't write down, so I'll need to go
Oh.
back and check.
I know that, like, still just anonymous tips are achievable, I imagine. Should we require it? Or we could just leave.
Again?
Yeah, I think that's actually Spider's plan. It's like, let's get
We're
together.
going anyway.
We're a legitimate trading enterprise, as we've just proven, and we're just gonna get out of here.
So the problem with that little detail is that organizing a week-long trip across the plains in raw volume of foodstuffs, et cetera, takes a couple of days. So no, you're not doing a 24-hour turnaround on.
No, it's not going to be 24 hours. But yeah, we need just enough mercenaries for the claws to come out of hiding, if anything ever attacks us. That's what Spider's thinking. It's like we don't need a full mercenary outfit. We just need enough fodder.
Yeah.
I mean, just eyeballing the world map, I'm assuming that the journey is at least 3 times the length of what we just did to the to the airship.
You've basically got to do the entire haul along the southeast arm of the Sky Anvil Plains. Yeah, it's at least. I think it works out to be a 10-day. I'd have to go back and pop source map open and get the ruler out, but yeah, it's 7 to 10 days travel.
Yeah, that's right.
And you'll be following the river right through every major tribe in on the up here on the way to the spot that none of them will go to if they can avoid it. Yeah.
Oh, we also had an order being made. When was that going to be ready by? I have a note somewhere.
Yes. Fancy magic thing.
Oh, a month.
Mm.
Well, less than a month now. It's
Fancy magic thing.
It's the 29th of Ilarial.
Are we going to pass a month here?
I kind of wanna. It's dangerous, I will admit that, but I kind of wanna. If we're going on our last adventure, as big scary adventure, I want the thing that makes me invisible.
That seems fair.
30 days, I think.
I'm sure we can survive 30 days. Looks to
Well,
count.
we're what, 8 days into that?
No, it's like 30 days from today.
Oh, okay.
Wait, is it the 34th? Or no, 35th now.
Today's the 34th.
Today's the 34th, yes. So it's the 29th of next month is when the stuff will be ready. Or at least my stuff. I can't remember yours. I think yours was on the same time scale.
I believe so. Or less. Wait, I don't remember.
I don't know.
Either way, the longest period that's likely to happen is a month.
Yeah. I remember thinking I don't want it to take longer than a month because I didn't want it.
Yeah.
I thought that trip to the Burn Fire Tribe was much longer than it was. Jamie did, not Spider. So
I think that might have been our thinking at the time. You're like, it's going to take ages. And it's like, oh, wait, no.
Well, the catch was that because for lack of a better way of putting it, you had a map with no scale, and only some vague commentary from locals about most of whom don't go outside the Confederacy's border, about how long it takes to go anywhere, and so yeah.
So there was also, I think, there was the possibility of like full 60 UPS.
Yeah.
Being like, we're here, bring thing. Send people here. Though it was
in 30 days' time, we're going to be at the volcano or back again. At which point,
yeah, I mean, it depends on how long it's going to take for us to gather everything we need to. Initially leave. Like, obviously, it can't be done in a day, but like,
it's probably harder under martial law.
Yeah.
Let's just say that oddly enough, anyone trying to make a swift exit is getting stared at real hard.
So we should actually just wait.
Yeah, it's probably just going to take us time to flip things, and
Arguably less suspicious if we are actively trying to look, not necessarily laissez-faire about it, but like, oh no, we don't need to go now. It's like at some point, like, yeah.
How's the music in your head that wants you to go right now?
It doesn't have a time scale, or at least it's not in that kind of rush. If it has a time scale, the time scale is generations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not like a week.
Yeah.
Unless something has changed since we
No,
went to the
and
underworld.
let's be honest, at the point, literally, it's been waiting since your grandmother first paid a visit for you to for someone like you to show up. Yeah, another week's unlikely to change much.
And it's supposed to be some like the volcano's not supposed to, go kaboom for another like, I don't know, anywhere in the next 100 years. So yeah, we can wait a month.
Yes, and the full 60 flies to the rough location of the volcano is about 400 kilometers.
Some time.
Right.
It's a journey.
It is a non-short jog.
Yeah.
Oh, Spider also needs to work out how he's like teleporting and flying and these things that he wasn't expecting to happen.
That was a conversation we definitely had. It was like, you did this right. And like, I did what now?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, yeah, do you not know?
So I feel like part of this month for Spider is like working out that when he listens to the music more, time moves way different for him. And then realizing, wait, time moves way different for me. I should stop doing this.
Wait a second. I'm messing with the talk.
Which is...
Because I think... Sorry, you go, Chantal.
No, I was just expressing black disbelief. That was it.
Alexandre, if time is moving slower for me, am I aging faster in relation to time?
Sam's contracting migraine on.
Yeah, even Michael's a smart kid. He's just like, ah.
I feel like Spider, every time I start to ask questions like that, everybody gets mad at me. So
are you mad at me?
No.
Okay.
No, because I'm usually the one asking the questions.
I'm starting to understand why I maybe should have been less mad at you.
Better late than never. I don't know the answer to your question. And frankly, because you are an impossibility, maybe you don't want the answer to your question.
Not the worst thing I've ever been called. By you. This week.
I'm a half elf. My life expectancy is already greater than yours. You probably don't want to consider if it's a gallop or a walk.
Yeah. I'm just like considerate of myself not making the tick and the talk faster.
Can I check this tick and or talk and see whether it is faster than it was before he started doing these things?
So go ahead. I will require 2 rules from you. The first of which will be simply your accessing of your magic.
You might want to check also if not just since it started, but while he's actively doing it.
Yeah, like if I cast haste on myself with haste.
Do it twice. Sorry, what did you need?
So the first thing I need you to do is just pop a is used. I think it's creation is usually the stat you use for your music. So just do me a is the song paying attention sort of roll. Just because it's topical right now.
25. So yes.
Yes, you have practically unlimited amounts of volume control at this point, for lack of a better way of putting it. The song is clear, present, eager. And so yes, make a logic. And the next thing I would like is a logic roll. Your target number is modest, 15.
Oh, I get to use my new D4. Look at it. It's a cool.
That's pretty.
That's so cool.
It's
wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh. Yeah. Does it spin like a top, or how do you roll that one?
You just roll it, and it will fall on one of its prisms.
However you damn well want.
Yeah. I mean, and I also rolled my other new die, and I got a yay. So it's exploding.
Wow. Okay, fantastic.
21.
So yay is a natural 20, ladies and gentlemen.
26.
First crit of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's 2022, not 2020.
Tell the person that made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So good.
So yeah, those are ridiculous rolls. Alexandri. Bringing the ridiculous with style.
I mean, her logic is a D4, so like,
yeah,
it shouldn't have been that high. This is something she knows about, so maybe.
Yeah, exactly. This is something that has been keeping her awake at night. She's had lots of time to think about this one.
You're essentially an expert in the field, in that you're the only person in the field.
Field that now there's a student. Wants to be there.
Once you were the subject, now you are the student?
Young Padawan, here is what I have to impart to you.
Just going to say, wait a second, that makes it academia. We have an expert in the field and a student.
Yeah.
Apply for grants.
No, you don't want to. Trust me.
That's why it took them. That's why it takes 30 days to make no progress.
You think it takes 30 days to make no progress? Try 4 months. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, you pressed the academia button.
My PhD lead jumped out of
So what Alexandra is able to determine is that, in point of fact, what seems to be happening is that he just vanishes. At the point he triggers his haste ability, he just literally drops out of the time stream. It's not that he's accelerating or changing anything. He just vanishes and then appears wherever he's going. Like, it's not that the TikTok changes beat. It just skips the beat he's supposed to be on, and then he's where he's at.
Is that for haste or for teleport? Because it feels like these things might be different. Okay.
No, so for lack of a better way of putting it, it's the way it's happening is it's two different ranges of the same effect.
Right.
You are stuttering across short distances for haste, and then stuttering much longer distances for teleport. So you are skipping through the beats of time.
That's it's like in Dragon Ball Z when they like disappear and reappear somewhere else. Oh my god.
That is exactly.
You're Vegeta and
I'm not Vegeta. You know why I'm not Vegeta? Because I don't actually want to be a Super Saiyan. Vegeta wants to be Super Saiyan, or wanted to be Super Saiyan so bad. Alexander's like, no, that's awful. I don't know what you're doing, but it's disgusting. It makes me want to throw up.
You're Gohan. Doesn't want it, but is better at it for a while, and then not so much going forward.
So
Gohan, I'm Piccolo. Go have fun. Good luck. I don't know where you go. But when you leave to go somewhere else quickly, you aren't here.
Oh, okay.
It is more time bullshit.
So, not so much burning through the excess time faster as because of your interaction with the concept of time, you can fuck with it. Yes?
Another way of doing what you do, my soul. Maybe. But
The best way of explaining it from Alexander's perspective is if you write out the song as sheet music. He's visible on the beats and the empty spaces in between. He's just not there.
Oh,
there is, instead of putting in a rest, you decide to just let the orchestra decide what they're going to do.
Is it like not so much isn't there during the rests, or is not there during the gaps between notes?
The gaps between notes.
Which is what the orchestra is deciding what to do.
Mm.
Yeah, like, you know, if you use vibrato, then that's the gap between notes. But, you know.
I don't know a lot about music, but
music knows a lot about you.
Shades of Constantine, the movie.
I mean, that is both reassuring and much more terrifying. So
there's no need to be afraid.
I at least have experience with that concept.
What, fear?
No, reassuring, but much more terrifying.
That's a theme of the campaign, really.
Feel free to not ask me how some of my abilities work. At least how I can best describe them. Anyway.
So, it's fine though, because now, Spider, you have your own thing for people to be afraid of you.
I know you never were, but lots of people were already afraid of me.
Yeah, but now they have a legitimate reason, and it's not just like walking on walls.
Yep. You got me.
I'm just trying to be honest.
I appreciate your candidness.
You're welcome.
Candidity?
Candor.
Candida. Nope, that's something else.
Candor.
You're manipulating the word you just want to use normally.
So yeah, you congratulations. You have managed to fuck with time such that time cannot be bothered to fuck with you.
Time gave you a VIP pass.
You only get those if you're very annoying.
Personally gave that to you.
Those are for annoying people, so congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I mean, out of curiosity, I think I'm starting to understand how Kaz feels. What? How is it from your perspective?
You're asking that question? You just said you know how Kaz feels, and that's the question you're asking?
Yeah, but she still asks the question.
And regrets it immediately. Just you remember that bit.
Yeah. I feel it. Whatever. I'm happy to ask the question.
The best way I can explain it is that I think, you know how normally when you think about what you want to do and then you go and do it, there's like time between those two things being the same.
No.
Well, I just mean, not in relation to your magic. So, like, if you want to go and brush your teeth, you think, I'm going to go and brush my teeth. And then you get up, you walk over to where your toothbrush is, you put the toothpaste on, and you brush your teeth. And only after those steps have you brushed your teeth.
But once I finished brushing my teeth, I brushed my teeth.
Yes.
Yes, that is correct.
So this feels like I think about brushing my teeth and then it's done.
Sometimes that's what it's like for me as well, but I don't think that's what you mean.
No. It's not that I've forgotten what happens in between. It's that my body is moving as fast as I think.
Oh, you should be careful with that. I don't want to be able to do that at all.
Well, I'm starting to understand when it happens and how to not happen. It's when I listen to the music, because suddenly I'm in the music. That's not a good description at all.
Interesting. Yeah, I
That
take it
does
back.
sound-
I don't. Sorry, you go.
Can I use Whisper of the Wild? Please?
Wow, are we done already?
Yeah,
I didn't think
nearly,
it was.
Yeah, we're only like 3 minutes
Yeah,
off. So
we are
yeah.
Sure, go for it.
Is this going to ultimately kill Spider?
Hang on, Michelle has to think hard about that. The answer you will get back is instantaneous. Michelle's working through something plot-wise. Is this ultimately going to kill Spider? The answer you will get is yes.
That's what I thought. It's good to have some confirmation. I mean, I don't say anything out loud.
Yeah.
If you find out something's going to kill someone, you don't say it out loud unless it's imminent.
By the way, you're doomed.
Having not been given a timeline on that answer as well. It's like, oh yeah, ultimately.
Yeah,
It's like,
could be after a normal human life cycle.
could be much longer than that.
So I do want to close off with
less.
one little bit actually with Spider very quickly.
Oh, sure.
So you folks will be around for at least 2 or 3 days, trying to act like normal merchant explorer adventurer people who aren't at all revolutionary leaders or having attended such a meeting. No, you wouldn't know anything about that, of course. And it's just coincidence you're hanging out at a well-known criminal bar of inequity. But beyond all that,
That's every bar.
no, the Twins are notorious.
I didn't know. We just turned up.
Yeah. Got really
To
good
the
Yelp
place that
reviews.
a criminal sent us to.
Had really good Yelp reviews that I assume were very willingly given.
So, some point while Spider is out and about, are you out? Are you running errands by yourself, or are you relying on the buddy system?
I feel like at the point that now we actually have some money, Spider's relying on people to do the running about for him.
All right.
Like it's a network. He's building a web.
All right. So you are remaining held fast in the at the staggering clock then, and just spending money and waving your hands, and magic is happening, and you're content that way.
Yeah, I mean, he's also like putting on the show of being a merchant, so he does all the legitimate business, or the seemingly legitimate business, and then the rest of it happens through intermediaries.
degree of
Alright.
logistics and coordination of all the stuff.
Yeah.
So-
I do what I sort of Scap says stuff where it's like with asking the question and being like, I take it back. I don't understand at all. That was great. I don't regret asking that question at all.
So, at some point when Spider is out and about on his legitimate business as a legitimate businessman, he's going to be realized he's being tailed by a young street urchin. Who is doing such a deplorably bad job of tailing you, you can't help but presume that he wants to get caught. He's done all but yank on your coattail. Human boy, kind of scruffy looking, sharp-eyed, bit lanky, underfed.
Yeah. Spider will find an appropriate place to accidentally get caught or catch.
Fair enough.
It takes 3 tries.
No. As soon as for lack of a better way of putting it, as soon as he gives the opportunity, the young lad will wind up leaning against a wall, not far away, apparently chewing on a chunk of resin or something, and otherwise not paying a huge amount of attention while talking out of the corner of his mouth. Which is, in other words, very much looking like he's not talking to Spider, but very much is. And the lad will be speaking thieves' scant.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Switch, sir. I got some words for you if you want to hear them.
Speak.
You didn't hurt a chum of mine the other day when you stopped him some questions before you went on your big trip. Oh, about the candy store, remember?
Oh, yeah.
I remember.
So, yeah, well, I like to say thank you for kindness when I can. It's an awful short supply on these streets, you know what I mean?
I understand.
So, I heard tell that some folks in green and gold tabards have been asking her questions for someone that my chum Owazos tells me sounds an awful lot like you. Came into town yesterday morning.
Thank you.
Your favourites are the twins, so no one around the pubs and beds is going to remember them to you, but he shrugs. I haven't been asking nice, if you takes my meaning.
Right. You're a good kid. And he'll flick him a coin or whatever.
He'll catch it. He kind of looks at the coin, looks back at you kind of speculatively, and peers down the street. Just, the casual is anyone. Who's paying attention? I also heard someone else snooze in town. Pretty vicious, handy with a knife. Put the boots to the Rice boys over on the 13th row by the Voyager's Gate all by themselves when the lads were playing bullies. They were running a toll booth for the folks coming home late, you know. Whoever they are, they've been asking about your pretty miss, I think.
Definitely a knife. Couldn't be a claw.
Knife. Well, okay, let me do it this way. The boys all swear that whoever the ruffian was that was interfering with otherwise legal and lawful trade was 11 feet tall, spat fireballs out of their mouth, and had a great sword in each hand, but they all survived, and it's pretty minor. But,
Could you send one of the survivors to me at the Twins? Assure them they won't be hurt.
I don't know if I can send them to you, but I can extend an invitation for you.
There's twice as much coin again for both of you.
I'll send one.
Good lad. Spider just puts his top hat back on and walks away into the
I'm
crowd.
just going to say, and the young lad practically vanishes instantly into the crowd. Like when I was telling you, he was so bad at this, he was obviously trying to get caught. You get to see what he's actually capable of. He's, one of the, if the other young fellow's lad, the one who's watching for people who are watching for graffiti's name was Owazo, he's probably one of that gang.
Time to draw up a suspect list.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we'll leave it for tonight.
Okay.
So, the game is afoot, as it is said. The beginning of the end, and it's going to be. I'm hoping we can do. This is going to be fun. So we will see you in a week's time.
See you next week.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Good to see you all again at the gaming table.
You too.
Yeah.
Bye.
Stay safe.